Some cases begin with a gunshot. Some begin with a disappearance. But today's case, it begins with a greeting on social media. A seemingly harmless greeting, but one that marked the beginning of a $15 billion criminal empire. This is the first file in a series investigating the most serious financial fraud cases of 2025. The file is named Prince Group. On the surface, Prince Group was a model of success. A giant conglomerate in Cambodia with projects in real estate, banking, resorts, and even philanthropy. The man at the top, Chen Ji, a Chinese-born entrepreneur with Cambodian nationality, always cultivated the image of a tycoon and a philanthropist. But that was just a facade. An elaborately constructed stage behind the spotlight was one of the most brutal fraud and human trafficking machines the modern world has ever seen. Today, we will peel back that facade, analyze every gear in this criminal machine, and understand how it extended its tentacles across the globe. Every empire needs a base. Prince Group's base wasn't the gleaming office towers in Phnom Penh. It was the heavily guarded compounds in Cambodia and Myanmar, places like Sihanoukville, dubbed the scam factories. Where did their workforce come from? Not from job applications. Most were victims of human trafficking. Thousands of people from across Asia, China, Taiwan, South Korea, Vietnam, Thailand were lured to Cambodia with promises of easy work and high salaries. The moment they arrived, their passports were confiscated. They became prisoners. They were forced to work 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each person's target was to scam a certain amount of money. If they failed to meet their quota, they were starved, electrocuted, and brutally beaten. They were both victims and forced to become instruments of the crime. It was in these factories that the pig butchering script was mass-produced. The name pig butchering sounds gruesome, but it accurately describes the process. The victim is likened to a pig, fattened, with trust and promises before being butchered, that is, having all their assets taken. What turned Prince Group into a true monster was not just the amount of money it stole, but its ability to customize scripts for each country, each culture, each psychological vulnerability. They didn't engage in mass, generic scams. They operated like dark psychologists, deeply studying victim behavior to create addiction, fatten them up, and then coldly finish them off. The scammers targeted the global epidemic of loneliness, especially in the US, Europe, Australia, Singapore, and Japan, where there have been thousands of victims, with losses amounting to billions of dollars. They began with seemingly accidental messages on WhatsApp, Tinder, Instagram, or Facebook, creating the feeling of a serendipitous encounter. The scammer often posed as a wealthy entrepreneur living in the US or Europe, showing off pictures of yachts, luxury homes, designer goods, or Michelin-starred meals, all of which were fake or AI-generated. They preyed on the desire for love and understanding by chatting daily for weeks or months, always being gentle and caring without ever mentioning money. The goal was to make the victim believe they had met the one. Once enough trust was built, they would start bragging about huge profits from crypto or investment secrets known only to insiders at large funds. They would invite the victim to join, saying they wanted to share the opportunity with someone they cared about. To increase credibility, they would let the victim invest a small amount in a fake app and allow them to withdraw real money, making the victim believe it was both true love and a life-changing opportunity. And then came the final blow. A golden opportunity is coming. If you don't get in now, you'll miss it. The victim would pour in all their savings, even borrowing money and mortgaging assets to invest. The moment the money was transferred, the website would disappear, the account would be deleted, and the scammer would cut off all contact. In countries like China, South Korea, Vietnam, and Thailand, the scammers used WeChat, KakaoTalk, Zalo, and Telegram to approach victims. Some would call or text directly. They opened with promises of a quick financial transformation, creating a sense that everyone was getting rich daily, and you were the only one late to the party. In their narrative, the scammer always played the role of a master trader, a legendary financial expert, or the assistant to a mysterious whale. They created VIP investment groups with hundreds of members, but the vast majority, up to 95%, were fake accounts. These accounts constantly flaunted huge profits, posting screenshots of balances doubling, quintupling, or even growing tenfold, creating a fanatical atmosphere like a financial cult that swept victims in before they had time to think. It didn't stop there. They also used authority threat scripts, impersonating government officials, police, bank employees, or even delivery drivers, calling to lure and coerce victims according to a pre-planned script. When the victim was confused and had lost control, they would direct them to transfer all their money to the scam group's account and then disappear completely. According to allegations in the investigation file, Prince Group's network is accused of operating a sophisticated cryptocurrency laundering system to hide the illicit origins of its funds. They use techniques like spraying and mixing and chain hopping, which involve splitting large amounts of cryptocurrency into hundreds of different wallet addresses and then consolidating them into fewer wallets to obscure the trail. The process followed a fairly tight sequence. Money from fake exchanges was converted into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or USDT. From there, the funds moved through a series of cold wallets and mixing services to erase any traceability. Once clean enough, the money was funneled into front companies under the guise of legitimate business profits. Finally, these funds were invested in real estate, casinos, or other legal projects, completing the laundering process. For years, this empire was nearly untouchable, but they made one mistake. They got too greedy and extended their tentacles to the United States. An international investigation was launched. Agents tracked the flow of crypto, interviewed victims, and collaborated with authorities in various countries. In October 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice delivered the decisive blow. Chen Ji and 146 related entities were indicted and sanctioned. Authorities seized approximately 127,271 Bitcoin, with a total estimated value of up to $15 billion. Behind these staggering numbers lies the tragedy of thousands of victims who lost their entire savings, and also the hope for thousands more to be rescued from the dismantled scam compounds. The Prince Group case closed with one of the largest asset seizures in history. But people like Chen Ji are still out there, and the scam factories are still operating. Have you ever received a suspicious message or call like the ones described? If so, share your experience or that of a loved one in the comments below. A story you tell today could be the warning that helps someone else avoid losing both their money and their trust. Let's spread the word to keep more people safe. Stay tuned for the next videos in the Top 5 Shocking Scams of 2025 series. Subscribe to the Financial Twist channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.